If you're thinking about sailing the UK coast, this episode shows exactly what it's really like. Here's our full Season 2 sailing recap. This season nearly broke us, completely surprised us, and gave us some of the best sailing memories ever. Today we're recapping everything from the UK East Coast sailing season, the good, the hard, and the unforgettable. From solo passages to family adventures, rough weather to perfect sailing days, this is everything that happened during our UK East Coast sailing season. Let's rewind Season 2. So here we go, the first sail of Season 2. For those of you that haven't been following along, the first sail was from Benfleet Yacht Club to the River Crouch, more specifically up to Bridgemarsh Marina. The reason we're doing this quite early on in the season is that we are going up to meet Ian. Ian has been wintering his boat in Burnham. He's had an engine replacement and we are basically sailing up to meet him for his launch the following week, where we plan to sail back together to bring his boat home back to our home yacht club, Benfleet Yacht Club. As you're going to see from some of the clips, this trip didn't go quite to plan. We had some quite gnarly conditions on the way up, punching into 27 to 30 knots of wind. It was very bouncy. I got some very wet jeans. Everyone found it highly amusing, but we made it. So that was our first sail of the season. And in the episode I do a review of Bridgemarsh Marina, which is a marina I found up in the River Crouch that's very reasonably priced. It is a shallow draft marina, so you can only have a maximum draft of 1.5, but it really is a fantastic destination and probably one of my top visits for this season. In the next episode we visited Burnham Marina, a really beautiful place. We found it a bit pricey for the mooring fees, but a fantastic place, great facilities, lovely restaurant, beautiful shower and toilet facilities. It really was a fantastic place. Lots of places to walk the dog, a shop just up the end of the road, so it was really convenient. As you can see, this is Ian's boat getting ready for launch. We had a fantastic time here. I highly recommend it, but it is a bit pricey. In episode 5, you're going to see me and Ian both solo sailing our boats from Burnham Marina back to Benfleet via Queenborough. We experienced, as you can see in the background, just the most beautiful sunrise as we came up the River Crouch heading out of Burnham. And I probably had one of the most memorable days and the most memorable sail I've had in the 2 seasons since I've owned Dancing Bear. The views were just spectacular. The weather was fantastic. The conditions were perfect. As you can see here, me and Ian are still just heading out the crouch at sunrise, and as we came around the corner, we both popped our sails up and we sailed all the way back together down to Queenborough. I think in total it was about 70 kilometres or so trip up the crouch, round all the way down to Queenborough, stayed overnight in Queenborough, and then we headed back over to Benfleet. But episode 5 is definitely worth a watch. I think it was the most beautiful, and as I said, just the best sailing experience I've ever had. So for the next episode, we went on a club trip. So I think it was about 10 to 13 boats in total from Benfleet Yacht Club. Went up to Medway Yacht Club. We were invited up for dinner. It was a club-to-club visit. Really lovely place. Again, I think this is the second favourite place we visited in the season. We had a really beautiful time there. Lovely dinner. It's got great facilities there. A nice little hammerhead pontoon to moor up onto, and we had a fantastic downwind sail all the way back down the River Medway back to Benfleet the following day. As you can see here, just Genoa out, perfect sailing. So a good episode, a great trip. Me and my wife had a fantastic time, and we highly recommend visiting Medway Yacht Club if you get the chance. Okay, so in this episode you're going to see two disasters. Firstly, me here trying to moor up to Ian on the way up the Medway, and the second one entering this lock and getting it all wrong. We are heading to Chatham Marina. Just us, Ian and our friend Keith, so 3 boats in total. We had a great time here, really nice. One of the more expensive places, so a bit like Burnham, I think a bit too expensive, but good facilities. This is the shower block you can see here. A really pretty marina, definitely worth a visit. I can happily say that on the way out here, as you can see, I made a much better job of leaving the lock than I did coming into it, and we had a fantastic downwind sail all the way back to Benfleet the following day. So Chatham Marina, definitely worth a visit, but again, quite pricey. So in this episode, I am crewing on my friend Matt's boat, who you can see here at the helm. He has purchased a Southern 43 DS, and we are now sailing it back from Titchmarsh. So Matt very kindly asked me if I wanted to come along and crew the boat back. I jumped at the opportunity. A fantastic experience. Titchmarsh was a fantastic marina, really liked it there, good facilities, but the boat was just phenomenal. Very luxurious downstairs, there's lots of space, and the speed, we averaged 8-9 knots downwind the whole way back, and I've never sailed that route before so quickly, so it really was a fantastic day. And very happy for my friend Matt, as you can see here, standing very proudly on his new boat. So this is an episode that I'm going to remember for a long time. It was quite a special time for me. I took my friend from school, old friend I hadn't seen for many years, out on my boat, took him over to Queenborough. We had an absolutely fantastic weekend, had some great laughs, catching up, playing cards, drinking, eating, going to the pub, getting him on the boat. It was just a really fantastic experience. We only had a short trip over to Queenborough, but it really was perfect. We got some sailing done. We went crabbing, as you can see, and we had a beautiful sunset on the first evening in Queenborough, and the following morning we slipped back out again and sailed back to Benfleet. But it was memorable because it was nice to share the experience with my friend who had never been sailing before, and we had a really great time. Okay, so in the wrap-up episodes towards the end of the season, we did a bit more sailing on Matt's boat. Got some clips here of us sailing in about 40 knots of wind, and I'm not even exaggerating. We did really find the conditions when we took Matt's boat out, but we took it out. We anchored up behind the Isle of Sheppey. As you can see here, the sun's just dropping down as we're going around the point here behind the Isle of Sheppey. Had a lovely evening there. So I spent the next, I think, 2 trips out on Matt's boat, and then me and Ian decided that it was time to bring my boat back, because it was up at Burnham in Bridgemarsh, and late in November, as you can see here, me and Ian braved the cold and sailed the boat back, and then once I got it back to Benfleet, we had it lifted out. So currently it's January now, just coming up towards the end of January. I think it's January 23rd or something like that. As you can see, the boat here got lifted out, put onto its spot, and then me and Ian started making a list of things that we need to get done on the boat. There's not a tremendous amount to get done. There's some wiring issues that we've got to address, and I've got some clips here in the background in a second of me and Ian fettling with wiring and whatnot in the boat, which is what we've been doing. Basically, we had the master switch to the batteries wasn't working properly, so we had to rewire that. The shower pump also wasn't working, and the reason that's important is because I'm going to be adding a shower onto Dancing Bear for season 3, so that my wife and my son and myself can have a nice hot shower. It's got everything on board in order to accommodate a shower, except the actual shower. So we're going to be fitting a shower. I will inform you in a future episode of which one I picked and the reasons why I picked it. But basically what we've been doing over the last couple of months since the boat been lifted out is basically these jobs. I've also got a small repair to do on my rudder, because when me and Ian bought the boat back, we brought it back against tides. It wasn't the ideal tide situation to be coming back from the Crouch back to Benfleet, but we did it, and we basically had to go up Benfleet Creek on a rising tide, but it was very early and we were bouncing and running aground quite often, which is okay in my boat because it's a bilge keel, but I did get a slight gash, I suppose is the best way to explain it, on the rudder. So I've got some epoxy filler which I'm going to have to do some fillering on the rudder, and I'm actually going to anti-foul my rudder and my keels this year. Even though I've got a copper coat, they're the bits that tend to sit in the mud at Benfleet through the season. They're the bits that tend to get the most barnacles on, so I'm going to anti-foul them this year, and that's about it. So at the moment I'm getting the boat ready. I'm not going to do too many episodes of boring repairs because it's mainly just wiring and tidying up and like I say, a small rudder repair, and then she's ready to go. So the next episode will probably be launch, or I may do one before on the rudder repairs to show you how I did that, because I've never done epoxy repairs before, so I'll probably do an episode on the rudder repair, and then just show you the bits and bobs that I've changed in the boat. But thank you very much for watching. Season 2 might be ending here, but Season 3 is going to be even bigger. New destinations, new challenges, and plenty more sailing adventures ahead. If you don't want to miss it, make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you back on board very soon.